Hello, everyone, and welcome to the W.A.K cast, the wackest podcast on the internet. As you all know, we skipped last week because Red had the flu.
I
And I
did.
mean, who wants to record with the flu? So that's reasonable. But we got some pretty decent stuff to talk about tonight, I feel like. I mean, a lot has come out about the new Last of Us season 2. We got some cool trailers. We've got some drama to talk about. So might as well just hop right into it. First item on tonight's docket. So recently, in an interview, I think it took place online. I'm not entirely sure. They were discussing God of War with the original creator of the series and the guy who made, Kratos and everything, and how he feels about what has happened to Kratos in the story. And I want to start by saying, as a fan of the new God of War games, I love it. I think, they're doing a fantastic job. There's all these different elements they can lead with in a next game, but he does not. He was very vocal about how the character he created, I'm like paraphrasing, but is more or less a monster who does not deserve redemption, who does not deserve family, whose only life has been pain and misery and loss and destruction. He's the god of war. And like in these new games, he's starting to be happy. He's fell in love. He's had a son. It's like such a far cry from where this guy wanted this character to be. But I mean, in a sense, I get where he's coming from because
Yeah.
I mean, it's like taking, something we've created and somebody being like, well, I think he'd be better off as a dad, just
Well, they
protecting his
clearly
loved
had
ones.
permission to do it from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure
they
if
had
he
the right.
had to, and he has totally a right to have created a character and had imagined a full story arc for that character and like to
Right.
see them do something else. Yeah, you might be like,
Yeah,
"Mm,"
it's,
but
it's
none of us are
disappointing.
gonna say that those games weren't good or that we
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely love the character arc that they've given Kratos.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and it's like I see where you come from too, because that's like through like his eyes, it's
Yeah.
like non-consensual change,
Well, it
which
might have been
sucks.
consensual depending on how much rights he had to it, but
That's true. I mean, clearly they had the rights, and especially when you start getting into artistic rights, it's like there's a lot.
well,
And I
and we
mean,
saw a
that's
similar thing
something
with
with a
Game of
character like
Thrones.
this, where I mean, there's a character that like extends beyond the scope of you. There's going to be stuff added to his canon story
Yeah.
that you might not agree with, but I mean, there's stuff that happens in everybody's life that you not agree with. So it is what
Yeah.
it is.
That's certainly a double-edged sword, and like he's definitely allowed to have his opinion. But I
Yeah,
can see why the
no
internet kind of
shame,
talked, why this kind of caught flame a little,
no
because
shame.
I'm sure more people have a different opinion.
Yeah. Like, I think a good rebuttal to it is like they just released the Valhalla DLC, and basically the whole premise, without spoiling anything, is Kratos having to deal with his past finally and kind of cope, not only cope with it, but decide what type of person he wants to be. And I think they did a
Spoiled you.
really good I think they did a really good job with what they wrote for him to decide and the story that it tells, but like I don't know. I also wasn't a huge fan of the hack and slash format of the old God of War games because I've always been a sucker for a good story.
Well,
And
yeah, I feel you there. I mean, the original God of War games, one, it was a different era.
It
yeah,
was a
oh,
And
different,
I
yeah,
feel
entirely.
like
games were just
that they might
different.
have started the whole like button, like
Mash.
reaction puzzle gameplay
Quick time
with
events,
like
yeah.
just, yeah, the QTEs.
Yeah.
that we've seen in a lot of games. But a lot of games around that time were very much that style of gameplay. I mean, yeah, Devil May Cry, God of
Yeah.
War, Dante's Inferno, stuff like that. God of
I
War
mean,
kind
you
of
could even
started
say
all
like
of
the
it.
Kingdom Hearts games too. Like the just games back then were kind of on that, just mashing a
I
single button a bunch, and
actually,
sometimes you'd
yeah,
use a
I'll give you
trigger to
that.
switch a power, but then you're just still mashing the button again. Like, yeah, it
Yeah,
was it was how games were in the time. I haven't played the old God of War games. I definitely did. I tried to play God of War 3 when we got that with PlayStation Plus,
Same.
and
I
I
tried.
got through like the first two missions and my hand hurt. I was like, I don't think I can mash this
yeah. I
much, dude.
definitely I played them when I was younger. There on the PS2. Um, I mean, they were way more violent. I will say that. Like,
Still had really
Oh
good
yeah.
stories though. I went through and watched playthroughs of them, and like still really cool
Same.
yeah, they
to
had decent
see
stories
like
to
the
them. And I
tragedy that
mean,
is Kratos.
I think, and that's what I think is important too, is that even though his character arc has changed, and I mean, I know he wanted him to be the monster. It's not like they changed the fact that he's a tragedy because that's what he always was
Yeah.
in the games. Like literally, trash events just unfold around him,
No,
and
and
then
the
he
new games
murders
are also
everything in
tragic.
rebuttal.
I'd say even at the end of these games, like it's pretty tragic the shit they go through.
I mean, yeah, totally. Well,
And
yeah.
even at the end of
The
the day, spoilers obviously for Ragnarok, like they're not together at the end. And there's a sadness there for sure.
yeah, that hits the hardest, honestly. Like, what an ending. But now that's like if they do go a third route, it would be kind of cool to now that Kratos is into the rage, he's got the blades, he's got the Leviathan axe. I think it would be kind of cool to send him back to like his angry strongman form for just like one more game, but still do it in the storytelling way that they did with the past two.
Yeah,
But
that could be cool.
Ragnarok, yeah, it's like with the 2018 one, I really liked it. Had a good story. I made me want to replay it again. But Ragnarok was just, oh my God, it was so good, dude. I don't know how they can top that. I honestly, if it was me, I wouldn't be upset after seeing Ragnarok. I'd be like, no, they're doing a good job.
No, yeah,
I
that's
think they're
my
figuring
thing.
it
It's
out.
like they're taking this character that I mean, I'll say was popular, but had a very specific kind of person. I feel like that was a
Very
fan of him,
popular.
and he's becoming this large icon, as it were. I like ask people randomly like who would fight between someone and Kratos, and Kratos always wins because he's the god of
Yeah.
war.
Yeah.
But like I feel like they're turning it's like he's becoming beyond like an action game. Like that's something I really like about games nowadays. It's like just the art and the message that they tell is starting to get more refined and like just more I don't know what the word is. Fancy. but
Fancy.
um yeah, like refined and something else, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is like God of War, the new one, it's more like it's becoming like this almost opera kind of thing, or it's just like
Yeah.
this massive tale, like an Odyssey or something like that. Like
There
it's
you
not just
go.
like a game; it's
That's
like
the word
greater.
I would use. Yeah.
It is, yeah, it is becoming its own story.
And that's I think that's remarkable. That, and I mean they're not the only one. Like, I mean Mass Effect was able to accomplish like that kind of operatic
Space opera.
style
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
storytelling, and I
Shit
like
was
that that's
dramatic, all
becoming
right.
just this more thing where like it encapsulates such a large grandiose, however you say that word, story.
I
Grandiose,
grandiose.
grandiose.
Dual real wheel.
Duro.
No, yeah, but it's crazy. And another thing, it's like so we know in the first story or whatever, the first big chapter, it was ancient Greece. Now we've just got like
Nord.
The Norse mythology. So where
The Norse misogyny.
the Norse misogyny,
Cancelled.
where do you think they could go from here, man? What
Bro,
would you
based
guys
on
want to
things I've
see?
seen around the games, like, so it's gonna be either like Egypt or Japan or the other one that I can't remember. Celt? I don't know.
It was a it was Aztecs because it
Was
was
it
an
bad?
obsidian sword, yeah, or
What if it's
something.
just all three of them? The movie just has to wax three pantheons.
It
I
could
I feel
be.
like I'm in that boat that I think we're getting an Artreus game.
So, well,
And
it's like,
I think where the Loki story is about to
oh yeah,
start,
yeah.
Whoa.
I think there's going to be an Artreya spin-off at
which could
least, but
definitely involve time travel. And so, like you were saying, we could
my
get all three.
first thought
What if it's like comes out and it's
immediately
just like God of Mischief
was like you've
in
got
the border?
Kratos versus Anubis.
It's a good name.
You've got Kratos versus a giant Oni god, which
Nah,
is
bro, it'd be
scary.
Kratos versus Amun Ra, dude. Are
And
you even
then
kidding right now?
and then Kratos versus like fucking Kukul Khan. Like, bro, that would be
That would be
fire.
gnarly, dude.
I don't know
Kukulkan.
which one I would like the most. I think the Aztecs would make more sense. But
I
could you
want to
imagine
see
him
the
fighting
Egypt though, but
Aztec
that's just like
gods?
personal preference. Because like my thing
Egypt
about
would be
like the
fire.
Japanese pantheon and stuff is
Get the
like
Sucker Punch
it's
crossover.
such a different kind of religion,
Don't do that to me.
because I mean, there are like figures and stuff, but there's also like energies and like so much other stuff involved with like, is it
I
like Shintoist
I do find it kind of
belief?
hard to think of Kratos fighting Japanese gods.
No, yeah,
Like,
because you have things. I mean, you have like Oni, and you have like the other things whose names I can't remember.
That one just seems so far fetched for
Like the one where
Kratos.
objects
Like he
become,
just doesn't fit in
is it
that
like
world as
spirits and
much.
stuff?
So it's hard for me to see that.
I feel
But
like
the Egyptian pantheon, I feel like, is a much more traditional
Egyptian would be crazy.
Yeah.
pantheon that he can
Aztec
actually
would be
go up and
brutal.
have these big, awesome fucking boss fights. Like you could fight Anubis, you could fight Ra, you could fight Horus or somebody.
Yeah. That would be cool, not gonna lie. And so for me, it would either have to
So
be
that
Egypt or Aztecs. But I think the Aztecs would be the most brutal because they used to do some crazy shit back in those days, you know what I'm saying? Like
Blunt weapons.
Kratos fighting a fucking sun god. Like it'd be
no, yeah. No, I will say though
terrifying.
too is something to think about is like it's not just the gods and stuff that you're going to be fighting in a God of War game. So you also want to think about like what the like I'm going to refer to as like the fauna of religion, what they bring.
Flowers?
Like how are like the little worgans and stuff in God of War, like the werewolf looking things, and like
Oh
trolls and
yeah.
all this stuff.
They
That's
have to
like
base
traditional Norse
enemies too.
mythology. So it's
Yeah.
important to think about. And I think that's where like Shintoist kind of like excels. Is there it does bring a lot of little.
That's
I
fair.
think if they decide to go Japanese, they might be hitting a little hard because they'll have to probably compete with Assassin's Creed Red, which
Yeah,
is the one that people actually wanted because it's an open world RPG samurai. So it's like
I think
a better
Aztec.
version of Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, I take that
If
back.
they can do that, I was about to say, yeah,
Ghost
that's
of
possible.
Tsushima is my favorite PS5 game so far. That was my favorite release.
I don't even think that counts as a PS5 game.
Was it on the four? It was on the
We all
four.
played it on the four.
It was on the four. Yeah. I
Back.
don't know. That's still it for me. Like Ghost of Tsushima was like my favorite drop
It
in
is really good.
years.
Ghost of Tsushima was really good.
And then we're gonna get Data and Ubisoft talking about we're gonna make it a little hard, so like Assassin's Creed Red might appeal to the Souls fans, and I was like, don't say that. I want to play it too. Like if this shit is
You're
Sekiro,
just
like
gonna
I'm
have to
not
eat
gonna
your
play.
pride and start that shit on easy, bro.
My thing
Just
is
have
like I
fun.
just don't want a game that I have to like cry to get
Well,
through,
it was like
like
I was talking
sometimes I
about
come
it.
home and take a nap for 3 hours. Like I need a game
You have to
that I
think
can get on and it's okay.
the part about those games, it's like part of playing the game, and it was like this with very old games. I saw like a post and people were talking about it. But the Souls games are like old games because like think about Mario, right? You would go into the level and you would immediately die to the Koopa, and you'd be like, oh, okay, so that Koopa I have to avoid. Boom, you get a little further, you die to something else, you remember that, you and then keep going, and that's exactly what the Souls games are. You go up, you find an enemy, you try and fight it, it murders you. You're like, okay, shit. You go back, you're a little more cautious, you find out its moves. It, like it's literally the same concept of game that we've been playing since the
Yeah, but I
beginning.
also don't enjoy wanting to play like a nice game and then some boss pulls out his massive dick and just stomps my fucking head in with 2 hits,
I was about
which
to
is
say,
exactly what
okay,
those games were like.
maybe not 2 hits, but I don't know
Hey,
how
that's
much
all
of a
Mario
fan.
could take.
I
Two
played the
hits,
fucking Jedi
unless
Survivor
you had
on
like
like
buff.
Grandmaster mode or whatever and beat that shit. And I'm gonna
Well, I
tell
mean,
you
some
right
are just
now,
like
that was baby
really
souls.
intuitive, so you just get through it. Like,
But that's fair.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
if
do
that
Tender
doesn't
Bridge
sound
of Spirits.
enjoyable, if taking hours to make a little bit of progress on a single fight isn't fun for you, then don't play it.
Yeah,
I will say though, Bloodborne is not that hard. Bloodborne is definitely worth doing. If you're interested to see if you could play a Souls game, play Bloodborne.
The
that's
one
what
that really makes
everybody
me sad is
says.
Elden Ring because, like, I feel like I want to play Elden Ring,
I'm
and
gonna
I
get
just
it.
don't want to get my
Yeah, I
ass
have it.
stomped
I've
in.
like played a little, but I have
I'm gonna
other things to
definitely
play. I
cop it.
will definitely jump into that world though, because I mean, it's game of the year worthy world. Got to
It
see what
Yeah.
goes
happens
on
to
sale a
Paul.
lot. So I mean, if you don't catch it now, you can catch it some other time for sure.
As we know, Last of Us season 2 expected to come out sometime.
It's
They're actually
happening.
saying it'll be 2025. How do y'all feel about that?
That's when everything's coming out.
Well,
I'm not
yeah, I
surprised.
expected
And
that
it's also
because
2024 now,
they
so it's
haven't
not as
even
far away.
started filming it
That is true.
yet.
It is officially 2024. So 2025 is only a year away. That'll be really fast. But we have 3 big actors, well, big parts announced for the Last of
Big
Us 2.
parts.
I think they're big actors too, but they are filling the
The
big parts
first
is
part
good.
is our favorite super muscular lady that killed. Um, should I not say those spoilers? I mean, these people have played the game, right?
What, bro? The game is older than I am at this
All right,
point.
fair enough. She kills Joel with like a golf club. She's
Yeah,
gonna be Caitlin Dever.
she
There's a
sure
picture of
does.
her. Check her out.
And
That's
there is no doubt that this actress is going to have to hit the gym hard
man.
because
She's
Confirmation
got
that
to get
her and Laura Bailey already
ripped.
are hitting the gym together. The voice
together,
actress of
oh
Abby
no.
and now the actual actress playing Abby, they're
You
gonna
know,
hit the
she
gym together. They're
also
gonna prepare.
she played Black Widow in the Avengers game that was a giant whirlpool dumpster fire. So she's
Oh,
being
she's going to
trained
last.
by the Black Widow, dog. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
There you
that's
go.
tight.
And then our favorite third wheel, Jesse, is being played by Young Mazzino. I might have mispronounced that
Oh, I have no
horribly.
idea who that is, to be
But this is
real.
a picture of him right here, right on
Boom.
screen for you. Yeah, that's Jesse. It fits. I'm not gonna lie. It really fits. It really does.
And who's playing? Who's
And then
playing?
this one also fits. So Dina, our
Yeah,
favorite
Dina.
romantic interest for Ellie, who Ellie should have chosen over Revenge.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Isabel
I mean,
Merced.
facts, bro.
I mean, yo, this dude right now, this is church, bro. Like, if
He's
you don't
preaching
know
over
The
here.
Last of
All
Us,
right, what are you saying though? Who is
you
it?
can't
Oh,
come into
Isabel.
church.
I might mispronounce this too, but Isabel Merced.
I think that's how you say it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Honestly,
pretty
I
sure
don't
for that.
know.
I think she really fits the Dina aspect. So we'll see how lesbian she takes it.
Hopefully later this year we'll get some
Holy
like a trailer, a sneak peek.
smokes.
But of course we can't talk about The Last of Us without talking about the main man, Joel himself, Pedro
Pedro
Pascal.
Pedro
Pascal.
Pascal.
He is for sure, I'm
Wildin'.
sure, putting his all into this role, but he's
He's
also
America's
super
favorite
hyped
dad.
for a different role.
Yeah, for real. So, of course, I'm not sure. I'm not judging. I don't think you guys watch Barbarian, but we brought it up on the channel before. Barbarian was written and directed by comedian Zach Kreger. He actually was doing a follow-up movie called Weapons that was supposed to be pretty wild and gruesome from what we've heard, and Pedro Pascal was the lead. He has recently told Zach Kreger that he cannot be in this movie because he's in the Fantastic Four. And it seems like any other contracts that, may come his way, it's possible he could be like, nah. Because, I mean, Barbarian was extremely successful. So
Bro, can we
Yeah,
just talk
it's like
about how this man infiltrated real quick? He's
he
in Game
did,
of
yeah.
he's
He's
great.
the Mandalorian.
No one's sick
He's
of him
now in
yet
the
either,
Fantastic
and no
Four.
one should be.
I was about to say, we sitting here talking about Pedro Pascal. Also, just announced there's a Mandalorian movie coming out that Disney's
Right.
doing. That's
Yeah,
also
they're doing
him.
a movie.
It's like,
That's gonna
what
be
the
cool. He has
Bro,
a
all
hell?
year
he
and a
needs to
half to
do is
watch
land
this show
himself in
now.
some DC, and he's like he's got the Infinity Gauntlet right now.
Oh, it won't be long, I'm sure. He'll get casted as somebody in the DC. If
Bro,
not,
who should Pedro Pascal be in the DCU?
if unless I don't, and well, that's what I'm saying. As far
Would
as
he
we
paint
know,
his
as
book
far as the
with
talks
them?
go, he's been cast in Fantastic Four. He's more than likely Reed Richards. So, like,
That's what I would
It'd be so
imagine
dope.
is Reed Richards.
I don't know if he'd even want to
That or
do a
he's
DC
Doom.
film after
He could
that.
be
What
fucking
if
Yeah,
he's
Doom, bro.
Doom?
that would
Oh
be sick.
shit!
If he turns out to be Doom, that would be
I
pretty
think that would be
Yo,
sick.
cool
that
for
would
Reed
be
Richards,
sick.
honestly. That would
And
be
then they kept Jim Halpert as Reed Richards.
because
They
he's
just
got it in him.
throw a
He's
whammy.
got it in him, dude. He's an actor, bro.
You can do
He
it.
could flip that switch and not be America's sweetheart no more.
Yeah, I still think knowing people,
Because
they
we saw
would.
it with Oscar Isaac, bro.
They'd be like, he's
Oscar
dead.
Isaac can flip that switch.
He's a very good actor. I mean, they both are. I'm not saying he couldn't do it, but like, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see him be Reed Richards. They could just throw us a stink ball and he could be the thing. And be like, who's clobbering
I don't think he'll be
time?
the thing.
Like,
That
That'd
would
be
be a bit
tragic.
whack.
that
I
would
mean,
be
it would be
freaking
great. He would
horrible.
make the thing very lovable, I'm sure. But and I think he's a
I,
bit too old for Johnny, right? Like
He could
oh,
be an evil
yeah.
he doesn't
woman.
give me the vibes of
What if
Yeah.
he's just
what's
all
the superhero
four?
name?
Yeah. They're
Every
all
He
single
is
one
the
is Pedro
Fantastic Four.
Pascal.
It's just the fantastic. That would be fire though, because when you see them
And
like
then
in an
Susan Storm
Avengers
is just him in
movie,
like a blonde wig
I
as
don't
just
know.
a
I
chilling.
definitely am also for Jessica Alba coming back as Miss Fantastic.
I mean,
nah Pedro Pascal.
I know, but
kind of, maybe. I don't know if she could still work that thing, but maybe. Who knows? But yeah, Pedro as
I
all
think
of
we
them
should
would be
get
better. I'm buying in. He'd be like, Reed, you can't do this. And then it would just be him as Reed Richards. And he'd be like, I have to save the world. And in the background, you hear, it's clobbering up. And it's just all him. It'd be fire, dude. That's like an SNL skit. I would
he
totally watch
officially
the hell
becomes
out of
the new
that.
Mike Myers. Just plays every character in a movie.
His face is the new Mike Myers mask. That'd be pretty
I meant Mike Myers, the
funny.
comedian, but
Oh, fair. I forgot he exists for a minute. You
I
talking about
know he has the
Shrek?
same name.
Shrek,
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
Shrek.
Austin
He's
Powers.
Austin Powers and Doctor Evil.
Oh my lord,
Oh
dude.
yeah, that would be
The
the best. Yeah,
king.
let's get Pedro Pascal to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
To
an
But
be
Austin
Doom.
Powers reboot, and he's Austin Powers. He talks with a British accent the whole time.
Pedro
Yeah.
Powers, dude.
People would probably buy into that shit too quick.
Smashing, baby.
But yeah, he's I don't know. There was just a time when there was no Pedro Pascal, and that was the time before our Lord, whenever Game of Thrones came out, because
Yeah, it was like he came out and was the Viper King
he
and got his
boomed.
eyes gouged out. And then it was like, oh, he's awesome. Let's put him in everything. And I'm for it. He's awesome. Let's put him in everything.
Dude,
Yeah, I think everyone agrees with that.
even in his SNL skit, he was just, or when he hosted or whatever. Either he hosted or he was a part of Bad Bunny's hosting thing. Bro,
I think
he's
it's part of
so
Bad
funny.
Bunnies.
He was just randomly there and it was so funny.
He's
It's like
also been really
he
funny
can
at
do
the award
everything.
shows recently. Like
Yeah.
him and Kieran
Him and
Culkin are
Kieran are
going at each other. It's
beefing,
so funny.
dog.
So funny.
I love that. Yeah, when he said that Kieran beat him up, and Kieran just has that psycho stare that's unbreakable for like a minute. That shit's great.
He says Kieran Culkin beat me up.
So,
Now here are the nominees for the. He's so good, dude.
bro, they are
But
wild.
anyway, there's other hype news coming out. Actually, especially if you're around our age, you were born in the late '90s or and lived through the early 2000s,
What's up,
bro. We got the dopest movie coming for y'all, and
baby?
it's about a phantom. Phantom.
It
Yeah.
may be the dopest movie coming. I mean,
Yo, did you just sing Danny Phantom to the tune of
yo,
Dragon Ball
Danny
Z?
Phantom, he was just 14 when his
We
parents
don't need to
built a
talk
very
about that.
strange
Alex, hit
machine
us with the
designed
Danny
to view
Phantom
a
fact.
world unseen.
You
He's got a
straight
catch
up
a
Phantom,
moxie. He's Danny
Phantom,
Phantom.
Danny Phantom, Phantom. You straight rock the dragon on Danny Phantom.
Phantom,
G.
rock the
I
Phantom,
took a
Phantom,
chance. All
Ball
right.
Z.
At least we were in the
It's just
same
fire,
Phantom
dude.
balls.
genre here.
Yeah,
Genre.
that.
Yeah, right.
So
Danny Phantom
immediately,
movie.
when you hear, to at least me, when I hear live action Nickelodeon, I immediately think of Drake Bell's Fairly Odd Parents movie. Not
Why?
good.
Yeah,
Like I don't. I'm scared. I'm so
No,
it,
yeah.
scared.
Well,
it's
is
nerve
this gonna be
wracking
a
to say
Nick
the
movie?
least.
Is
Hmm.
this like, is this a Nickelodeon movie, or is this like some other company is doing this?
Well, it's Paramount Plus who I
Oh,
think
okay,
has like
okay.
a
So Paramount
So
Plus
massive
like
is
it
doing it.
could, it
chunk of
might be like good,
Nickelodeon.
but
So
it
it's got
also,
maybe a budget. It's got a bigger budget than just like a fucking on gonna. It's gonna be on a
Oh
kids
yeah,
channel.
it'll have
It's
a bigger budget
well,
than
yeah, but like
Nickelodeon
also,
channel.
do you remember with Danny Phantom, like how much they're gonna have to spend on special effects for Danny Phantom?
Can you imagine the
you
first
know how much
time?
they're not gonna spend though, and that's probably gonna be its downfall.
I was about to say, can you imagine the first time he turns to look at the camera and he goes, I'm going ghost, and his eyes light up green? Like, bro, I'm gonna be watching this shit like the whole entire
uh,
movie. Like,
Nah, if they do it right, they get like a dope like teenage actor,
about to say, I'm calling it right now.
Chris
S-
Pedro
Evans.
Pascal.
Dwayne Johnson is gonna be his dad. Chris Pratt's gonna be Danny Phantom, dude. It's like, no,
Dwayne Johnson. Oh,
I'm telling you,
Well,
Dwayne
oh,
Johnson
Dwayne
is
Busy.
gonna be
Get
his
Kevin Hart.
dad. Got
Get
to,
Kevin Hart.
bro. Tuna
oh, the dad. Okay, I
is
could
gonna
see
play
that make
Danny
more
Phantom.
sense. I straight thought Dwayne Johnson is Danny Phantom.
Nah, he said Chris Pratt, Danny Phantom.
Yeah, Chris Pratt will be Danny
Jesus.
Phantom because
Jeez,
he's
man.
ever. Yo, you
He's
know, this is
everywhere.
a total side note, but people are laughing and sharing shit now because apparently in Korea, Chris Pratt is the face of Fortnite, and nobody knows why. There's giant
Wow.
posters in like the town squares of like him and fish stick and shit, and nobody knows
This can't be
why
real, bro. That's
Korean
hilarious.
people. I'm seeing it multiple people, but
That's
no
amazing.
one knows why Korean
Whatever, bro. Get
people
that
love
bread.
Chris Pratt and Fortnite. But it's like everywhere.
Why the fuck
Bus
don't we have
stops.
Chris Pratt in Fortnite?
We don't, bro. That's it's like why? What the hell is the
Oh yeah,
point,
we got the
dude?
That's
Fortnite
funny,
version of
dude.
Star Lord,
That's
It's
funny.
like
and they never did a Jurassic Park crossover.
over there, and Korea, it's just like he is Jones pretty much. Like that's who they
Oh,
picture when
that
they
that's
see
so
Jones.
funny.
They're like, it's Chris Pratt. That's who that is. It's Mario. Like, bro, that's
Give
wild.
it all the time.
But yeah, it is wild how many old shows from our childhood they're dipping into now. It's gonna be
Oh,
not
dude.
long before
Because
we
they're
see the Jimmy
bangers. They're
Neutron
like, it is
musical,
so hot. Let's
the
do that
Fairly
again. And then
Odd
they
Parents,
suck.
the live action
I think
VR event.
that's why I think Cartoon Network has my heart because I think they know better. They're like,
Yeah,
if we were to reboot or do a live action Ed, and Eddie or Courage, people would fucking burn the studio to the
that
ground.
shit
Oh,
would.
yeah.
The
How do
magic
you
is
do
gone for those
something
shows.
like that?
Mm,
And we're
That's one of
also
those
just in
things.
a new age.
If
Like
it
I think
were realistic, it would be horrifying.
I think Cartoon Network has kept up well. I think they release shows that are really good for the kids watching them, and like they're
yeah,
they're
it's
just
like the middle
their
ground with the
writers I think are
shows.
doing a good job of like dropping the entertainment the kids need to be
Right.
chill.
And it's like normal enough to where you can watch it for several hours and not
Right, and it's
want
always funny enough for adults to watch. The writers never let it
Yeah,
be
you've got
strictly for kids.
shit like Adventure Time and I mean Steven
Even the new
Universe,
ones, yeah,
regular
Steven
show.
Universe, Craig of the Creek is really good. I've heard really good things about like the Owl House. I need to check that out.
Clarence was a banger before. I think the guy
yeah,
who made
Clarence is old
Clarence
now,
was like
dude.
sexual
Clarence is like
harassment or
15 years
something.
old.
Yeah,
But either
oops.
way,
Anyway,
yeah,
all right. So while we are on the topic of movies, something cool that recently came out. I know the Mortal Kombat movie had a bit of mixed reception, especially in
it was
terms of
fun.
the
It was
main
a good
character.
time.
I
Okay,
Wait, the
yeah,
mean,
that
movie?
dude sucked. Yeah, the
yeah, the
movie.
movie.
Uh,
It
Duh.
was a good
Well,
time.
I get when
the
I saw
main
it in
Call outs were
theaters,
cool.
I gave it a like I remember walking out and saying 10 out of 10,
6 out of 10.
but then after consideration, I was like it was a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Before I
Seven.
go any further, we are talking about the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, fuck the Mortal Kombat movie. The main character literally had plot armor. I have such a bad problem with that. Like, how you gonna take out motherfucking
Yeah.
Goro in like two punches?
Hey,
Like
we
the
talked
fuck?
about this before. This isn't what we're here to talk about right now. Alex, hit him with the facts.
You know what? I have an answer for that, right? I have an answer for why they
Oh,
did
here we
this to
go.
Cole.
Oh, here we
I
go.
don't like Cole Young. Let me just start by saying they could have focused on anybody else. But
Agreed. Kung Lao is the shit.
I think what happened was there's such a low budget because the past two movies were ass, right? They're expecting this movie to be ass. So Warner Brothers gives him this budget, and this dude is like, well, shit, now I got to do fireballs, laser eyes, how to do all this crazy shit. So when it came to Cole, he was like, I don't know, give him armor. And they just kind
Armor.
of it had to have been like that. Or
Any
with
type?
Goro, they were like, dude,
It's
are
a
you
good time.
sure you want to do Goro? And he was like, yeah, I want to do Goro, man, but we can only have him in for like 5 minutes. And then they were just like, all right, well, have Cole just whoop his ass, I guess. And it was like, it doesn't make
Yo,
any
Goro was scary,
human
bro.
sense.
My ass would have been
I
dead.
think what they fucked up doing is you started the movie focusing on
Hmm.
Sub-Zero and
And that shit
Scorpion,
was dope.
and
No,
then
the
you
Sub-Zero
don't get a
Scorpion
resolve to that
was great.
story until the final 15 minutes.
And that even that is still overshadowed by
Yeah,
Cole, and it's a bit tiring
like
at that point.
you could have skipped the whole Cole thing and just done a movie about Scorpion and Sub-Zero's
No,
hatred for
yeah,
one
honestly, I
another.
think they should have
Or
gone
just
the exact opposite of how X-Men should have done and done like origin movies, like do Scorpion origins or
Now,
Sub-Zero origins.
those would actually work really well. See, I'm simple. I just wanted them to do the old Mortal Kombat movies, but make it look cooler now. Like cooler graphics now. Literally just show us a Mortal Kombat with today graphics. That shit
now
would
I
be fire.
think
All the characters we know and love, not some new
from
guy.
I think from what I can tell, that is the intention with two, because also this guy, I'm pretty sure Simon McQuaid, the director, it definitely was his very first film he's ever directed. I'm pretty sure he's like in his
Not bad,
40s
honestly.
already.
That's
So
not
I'm
bad.
thinking like with this one, it's going to be hard. And
It's
the
been
reason I
worse
say that,
for sure.
it's going to be worse. The reason I say
No.
that is because recently on social media, some of the new actors who are a part of this movie have started sharing little pieces of their costumes and their props. And I mean, we said it before, and the dude they got cast as Shao Kahn is the literal definition of a brick shithouse. So I have like there's a picture on Instagram of him standing next to the dude who's gonna be Liu Kang. And I'm like, you expect me to believe that Liu Kang's gonna whoop this dude's ass? Like, there's no way. But not, yeah, they're doing the tournament, and the guy who plays Shao Kahn has actually posted a picture of his hammer, and it looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. It's got all the detail in there. It's got the dragon symbol on it. It looks absolutely fire. But not only that, we finally get to see an in-depth, up close look at Katana's fans because
Nice.
Katana's gonna also be in this movie. And the last one, which I think everyone's most anticipated to see, we got to see Carl Urban, aka Johnny Cage's belt buckle. And it is the belt buckle from MK11, the one
I
that
wonder if they're going to
everybody
use that
loved.
to explain. Oh no, they already explained powers in this
It's your
universe.
Arcana, bro. Yeah.
Oh,
Have to be blessed by the dragon symbol to unlock your Arcana, which I'm pretty sure Ed Boon said he was not a fan of, but understands why they had to do that because otherwise it would be like magic exists on Earth. I mean, they really didn't have any other choice.
fair.
So,
I mean, they can. Doctor Strange does that. It's just like, yeah, magic is a thing.
like Kano went his entire life and made it to his mid 30s before he realized he could shoot laser beams out of his left eye. Like, bro, it would be kind of silly if there wasn't some form of explanation for the powers.
Yeah.
But I've seen that movie like six, seven times maybe since release, and I still think Sub-Zero, he should have been like the centerfold of a lot of those scenes because he's
No, yeah,
fucking
honestly, he's a good
scary.
one.
He
Although
killed.
Shane soon killed it.
Your
But
soul is mine.
Nitara,
And he
who's
killed
the other one?
Natara was killed by Kung Lao, and then
And
Shang
then
Tsung
and
killed
then
Kung Lao.
I feel like they did Reptile and killed Reptile, and people got mad as fuck, and they're like, "Oh, that was just one of his race. That
That
wasn't
wasn't
necessarily
actually
Wait,
Reptile."
reptile.
okay, I think Mortal Kombat 1 hammered that in hard because in the movie he doesn't call him Reptile, he calls him Sizoth. And in Mortal Kombat 1, they don't call him Reptile, they call him Sizoth. So I'm pretty sure it's like you can't be like, no, that was just part of his race. Like Shang Tsung literally said, Sizoth, find them. Like it was clear
Mm,
as day that's
that's
who that
fair.
person was.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
Whatever, dude. Maybe
they
everyone
killed
returned
him.
somehow.
well, I mean,
Somehow,
to be real,
everyone's returned.
that was one of my favorite scenes because Kano does the OG fatality, then you hear the fatality theme in the background, and Kano hits him with the Kano wins, and it was just fucking beautiful. It was like that
No,
was a
I
good
will say
ass
that.
scene.
Like from an artistic standpoint, that scene was beautifully created.
But I know Justin's heated, which I didn't know this was a thing. But it's unfortunate that your favorite character happens to be Kung Lao because Mortal Kombat fans call it the Kung Lao curse. In every
Yeah.
storyline, at some point, Kung Lao gets just done like a dog and gets fucking murked. And that I feel like that was the thing in the movie. That's why they did it that way. But
That's so dirty, bro. He
Kung
was so
Lao
good.
fans were shitting, bro. I'm telling you. because we just watched him whoop Natara's ass, hit her with a fatality, and then all it took was a "your soul is mine," and he was just fucking gone. Like, bro,
Right?
come
Like, what the
on,
fuck, dude?
dude, no
Sorry.
way. Liu Kang couldn't have fucking go, what am I doing? Threw a fireball or
Right?
anything.
Fucking
Like,
Raiden, the god of lightning, is 2 feet next to
he
you.
was there, dude. He
Nothing
was,
to save you.
well, that is unfortunate. Like, he
Like,
didn't even
bro,
care whatsoever.
you're the god of lightning. You could move at the speed of light.
I think the only thing I'm sad about in part one, besides us focusing on Cole Young, was there's not going to be another Cabal because Cabal
Yeah,
was
Cabal is
that
also
dude
good.
in the movie. But we got to see the dragon fatality on Cabal, so it was worth it. But
Yeah.
still, just sad. But it
But yeah, keep your eyes
looks like
peeled if you
everybody's
want to
beefing
see
up.
that movie.
Looks like everybody's trying to fit into the role a little better. So hopefully in the second one, Cole's plot armor gets broken somehow. But
I hope so. I'm
we'll
cool if he
see.
keeps the tonfas. If he had just the tonfas and like he could block strategically and absorb energy, that's cool. Armor over your whole body. It's not fair. You
I
know,
think if
like,
anybody can break it, it's gonna be Shao Kahn with that hammer. That shit's
bro.
gonna shatter, bro. It
For real.
has to. And then before we move on, I really hope they don't decide to overshadow Scorpion. If they're doing the tournament, let Scorpion come back because he did get his revenge. Yes. But don't let that be, oh, yeah, Scorpion was only in costume for the last 10 minutes of the first one. Like, come on, dude. All the
I'm sure
Scorpion
he'll be
fans will
in
be
it, bro.
shitting,
Not
bro.
like
Yeah.
and like
Nah,
I
I feel
feel
like he'll
like
be
those
in it.
scenes were good, but I also feel like it was basically like what clickbait would be for a movie. It's like
It was,
Scorpion and Sub Zero fight in this movie, and you're like, oh, it's about Scorpion and Sub Zero. You're
yeah,
like, no,
I've no,
Not at all.
no, we didn't say that. I've
not at
noticed
all.
a
It
lot.
opens with them, but it's not about them at
I
all.
noticed that a lot of movie reviewers call it a couple different things, but like I've clung to like trailer plot. Like that's what those scenes are there for, is because it conveys this trailer as, wow, this movie is going to be absolutely insane, and then you go in and you're like, well,
Like what?
fuck, they showed all the good scenes in the trailer. Like they showed Scorpion resurrecting and starting the fight with Sub-Zero in the trailer. That was the last like 15 minutes of the movie. Was
They
like,
be doing that shit.
why would you do that? But I mean, I have high hopes. I mean, the first movie, amongst weird receptions, actually did pretty good at the box office. It did good on streaming, so I have faith that they'll give him a little bit of a bigger budget. He definitely had a bigger reach character wise because he's bringing in a lot of big hitters that were only teased in the first one. And if I'm not mistaken, Baraka may be in the next one,
Nice.
which, ugh. But I think
I'll
if
probably see
we,
it. I mean, it'll be fun, I'm sure, at the
I'll
very
see it in
least.
theaters. I did the first one, so I'll see it in theaters. But I know if in this movie or in the after credits or whatever, if there is no smoke, there will not be Mortal Kombat 3. I won't let you guys make it. Just saying.
So
But
You
bring
have to
smoke.
bring smoke in.
yeah, especially after MK1. I feel like the people who were like,
Literally just
Smoke is
get
all
Yuri
right.
on screen.
Now
Yuri on
people are just
screen.
like, Smoke is one of the best characters in that game, dude. But yeah, speaking is perfect. Speaking of the game, as of the recording of this episode today, we got another DLC drop for those of us who have the combat pack. It should be available right now.
Los
If for
Chameleons.
those of you who don't, I think it'll be like 4.99 or something to get the character without it. But we got Chameleon, which a lot of people may remember. I think it was from
Here's a picture of
Armageddon.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
there's
if you
Chameleon.
played Armageddon, you remember the OG Chameleon. But now, of course, in the Quan Chi trailer, they showed us the new Chameleon. I think she's gonna be a lot of fun, honestly. I mean, Trimmer
Yeah, it
looks
looks
dope.
looks like they made Chameleon a very like multi-talented cameo. You've got your long range, you got your combo capabilities, and you can kind of use them as other characters almost. You know, they've got that multi-character aspect about them
I
that makes
will
them just
say,
like very
like,
interesting.
that was the
Well, if
best
they
thing
can,
about
yeah.
Trimmer is Trimmer had the different variations where if you needed a far distance hit, you got it. If you needed a close distance hit, you got it.
True.
Like he could just do everything. And if she plays in
And
that
I could see that
format,
being
she'll be the
most of the
next one
cameos they release.
yeah, she'll be the one I continue to play as until they drop another cameo. But I
Same.
mean, I know in last month's episode, we were kind of hyping up the fact that, like, yeah, Peacemaker's coming next. Turned out to not be true. It was Quan Chi and Chameleon. But at the end of the Quan Chi trailer, we saw the clip of Peacemaker. We got the official voice line that confirmed that John Cena was voicing the character. And now we do know that in about 2 or 3 weeks, he actually is going to be the next DLC character. So, I mean,
That's hype.
I'm,
That's gonna be
I,
fun.
we
I'm sure
all
his gameplay
know
is gonna be super fun.
who I'm waiting on. Probably going to be one of the last characters they drop, but John Cena, Peacemaker, that's a good character to tide me over until
I
Homelander.
really think they're gonna make him fun. I feel like he's gonna be similar to
Aaron Black.
the Terminator in
Oh yeah, true.
what was it, Injustice? Maybe
Mortal Kombat 11.
it might have been Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah. They had Terminator, Rambo, and RoboCop.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they
Oh,
had some
RoboCop.
shooters.
I think he's gonna be similar to like a RoboCop kind of.
I'm hoping he's not as clunky, but we'll
Yeah.
I
see.
will say, yeah, with RoboCop, it was a great idea. It was one of my favorite DLCs. I think I maxed him out, but it was so hard because he's a fucking robot. So he was slow, he was clunky, his moves were all over the
Yeah,
place.
that's not how I like to play Mortal Kombat, so like it'll be tough
Yeah.
for me if he's like that, but
I
I don't
think
I'm sure he'll have a little more mobility than that, but I am excited to get a little gunplay,
so far I've
helmet
recently
play.
tested a lot of different characters,
Dual
and the
play.
one thing I've noticed is that they tend to with every character there's just really good combos that even if you're not good at the game, they're really easy to learn and learn to string together. So I'm thinking
Yeah,
a lot of these characters are just going to be like really good characters to use. It just depends on, which one you want. But Peacemaker, yeah, you've got Eagly, could be a possible fatality, brutality, outro.
for
I think a
sure.
cool fatality would be if he took his helmet off and put it on the other person because the helmet would detect that it's not him and then it would self-destruct. And that would be a cool fatality for him.
Yeah,
Are y'all
I'm
frozen?
We were for a little bit.
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought so.
on to us it was you, but if yeah,
I got a stroke though, so it should be fine.
I
Eh,
always just go with it's cool until you notice it.
yeah. Oh, but yeah, that'd be a cool fatality. And then yeah, you've got something with the gun, you've got something with his fucking like American flag muscle car. Like there's so many
He's
possibilities.
got options, and I like that. Like he's probably one of the goofier. He was
Mm.
like the Joker
Yeah.
in the last Mortal Kombat. Like I
That's
think,
he might play closer to Joker actually, because Joker had
That's cool.
gunplay with his.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and it's
Joker
just
had a
like
lot.
he's got that like goofiness to him, especially because they're using the John Cena version. So it's like
Mhm.
their
Yeah.
source material is like a comedic version of this character.
Yeah, I
So
think it'll
I just
be
feel like they have
really
a
good.
lot of room to bring in like a really good comedic relief, and like I want them, seeing as John Cena is the voice actor, I really want them to think about like his lines with certain characters, especially like Johnny Cage. Like I feel like there could be a lot of stuff between him and Johnny Cage.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're gonna have some goofy shit to say. I can already
Hopefully.
imagine. Bro, I mean, already Johnny Cage is written so good in that game. I can't imagine him and Peacemaker. Yeah, that's something that definitely I'm super hyped for. So I know this weekend I'm definitely gonna grind some levels out with Chameleon, see what kind of cool brutalities and stuff she's got. But that is going to move us into our final game and topic of the night, which, when discussed
Scary.
with these two, was like, that sounds super lame. That looks super lame. But I don't know. I have
It's true.
megalophobia bad. And like
Oh, for
that
sure. Same.
that image in this trailer for this game coming out called Digested, you can wish list it on Steam right
Oh,
now.
digested. I get it now.
It is terrifying because it is a man who is like a researcher on an abandoned island by himself, and there's this massive, massive, humongous snake. And I grew up watching stuff like Anaconda and all those goofy giant snake movies. So shit like that, I don't want no part of it,
Nah,
dog.
definitely I'm not gonna play it. It definitely is
No.
unsettling and it's a scary concept. Now, it does have like Lethal Company graphics, so it is a little goofier looking. Like it's not necessarily the most realistic looking snake, and that's probably for the better. Like more
Yeah.
people will probably play because it doesn't look so serious, but it definitely will be scary to just be walking around alone and then hear
It
giant
looks
hissing.
very one note to me. Like I feel like there is no beating the snake kind of game. I feel like you
I'm
just
sure
walk
there's a
around
way to
until
beat
you're
it
eaten by a snake.
or like
Yeah.
lure it into
They'll
death somehow.
probably hit it like they did Sons of the Forest and shit, where the main objective is to survive and figure out what's going on, but it does have a like ending if you play long enough to hit the ending or whatever. But
You just gotta
like
get good.
I think
Juke that snake.
I think it's all atmospheric horror, and that's what makes it terrifying to me, because like it'll probably be a more quiet game. Can you imagine, you can't really see far ahead because of the fog, and you hear this giant thing slithering through the trees? Like
Man,
that's
I
terrifying.
don't know. I know we said this was the last topic, but I'm gonna jump into another topic, and that is a scary game that also has fog with it. Because Silent Hill 2 remake was announced recently, and they
True.
put a trailer
Also,
out for that.
Well, it was
also,
announced quite a while ago, but yeah, they finally revealed the trailer.
The trailer is out though
Yeah.
recently,
yeah.
is what I mean to say, and so we finally get to see what Silent Hill 2 remake is going to look like, and it looks great. It looks like a true to form remake of the game. We got a good look at Pyramid Head, and I don't know if I had to choose a scary game, I'd probably choose Silent Hill 2 over Digested. That
I
being said,
mean,
That's
Digested is
fair.
probably going to be like $15.
Yeah.
So
I don't have a good PC, so I probably won't even play Digested, but I'll definitely
Oh yeah,
watch
because it
people
is gonna
play
be a
it.
Steam game.
That shit
But
gonna
it
it
be
might
reminds
have
me
a
a lot of
proper
crazy.
release
Slender,
eventually.
What?
but I don't know. It reminds me a lot of Slender, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much story it's gonna have though is the thing. Talking about Digested right now.
Yeah, there's
Um,
not
Oh,
much
there will be a
to go
story. No,
off
I'm
of,
actually
I'm
more
sure.
interested in what the story is gonna be. I'm sure there's gonna be tons of like documents and shit to find and piece together a story. And I love
you
games
would
like those.
hope. You would hope.
I
That's
mean,
true. It
yeah,
should not be, but
they'll definitely explain like why this dude is there. Like it's a game that
Yeah.
and
What
is
if
why
kind of
the
Beast
snake is
grew
showcase.
there.
small?
Dude, yeah,
That would
what
be
if he
what a
shrunk?
twist.
That's the twist. He's living in a
What a
shrunken
twist,
world.
bro.
Holy
That'd be
Justin,
scary.
he
smokes.
called it
That's like
now.
fear on top of fear because you're already like, there's a giant snake, and then you're like, oh my god, and I'm just tiny.
Bro,
We'll see
that
what
shit
happens,
just
bro.
fucked
Yeah,
up
you get to
so
the end of the
bad.
game and a giant fucking like ant or something comes up. Like, wait, what?
Y'all are
I
going
don't know.
nuts on my screen right
But
now.
hey, that's gonna do it for us here at the Whackcast.
Amen.
Thanks for
Yep.
stopping by.
Thanks for playing with us. We had a
No, yeah.
blast.
We'll see you guys next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Cue a
And
non-copyrighted outro. song.
Holy smokes!
Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, share it with your friends.
Mm, 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 mm.